Well, hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Monica Powell. I'm the Senior Associate Dean and Graduate Dean here at the Jindal School of Management at the University of Texas at Dallas. And I am delighted that you are considering UT Dallas as your destination for graduate degree. We have got a great team of folks who are joining us for this particular webinar. And I want to tell you a little bit about these folks. We have Corina Cantua. She is our director of our advising operation here in the school. She has been here a long time. She knows every answer to every question I have ever asked her. And she is the #1 go-to person when we have webinars like this to answer really critical application questions for prospective students. We also have this wonderful entourage of folks that come to us from our International Students and Scholars Office. These people have the patience of I don't even know who, but they are able to handle a complete proliferation of questions that international students ask about coming to UT Dallas. We are so fortunate that in our graduate programs, we have fully employed students who come to us directly from work to engage in our master's and MBA programs. And then we have the great pleasure of having students from all over the world who choose UT Dallas as their destination for a graduate degree. And you can see along the bottom, Josephine Vitta, the director of the ISSO office. You can see Elizabeth Walker, an associate director, and also Sarah Koo. And these individuals are going to help answer really critical questions that you have as a potential incoming F1 student. So let's look at what we're going to cover today, because we know that you have oodles of great questions, and they tend to fall into one of these 5 bucket categories. And we know that for you, it's really important that you get precise answers. So we're going to address questions that we know students have asked 1,000 times around applications, and how do you fill them out, and how do you respond, and how does it work? So we're going to address that. We're going to look at scholarship questions. We know that going to graduate school is really important, and we want to make sure that you understand how to take advantage of those financial opportunities. We're going to look at specific program questions, kind of what are the differences between the master's in terms of program length and credit hours and the MBA, which is a lot longer. And then, of course, we're going to address our wonderful guests from around the world who are considering UT Dallas as their destination. And we're going to answer those all-important questions that you might have around F1 status and how we help all of our international students. And then, of course, all of you that are attending are the stars of our show, and we want to make sure that you don't leave here today without answers to your unique and specific questions. So we're going to cover all of that, and we're going to start at the beginning with those all-important application questions. So Corina, why don't you take it away and answer these questions?
So absolutely, Dr. Powell, I'm happy to be here to answer all the application questions we can. I know we're going to start with some of the more popular ones that Norma is going to go ahead and ask, and I'll fill in the answers as best we can.
Our first question is, what is the application deadline, and what is the difference between the early and regular application deadline?
Yes, so on the screen, you're going to see the regular application deadlines. And when a student applies by those deadlines, they're applying on time with no late fees. That's a perfectly fine deadline to follow. Now, if you see the link on that screen, if you were to follow that, it takes you to the main university's page. And on that page, you will find some additional deadlines that are labeled the early application deadlines. If you're ready to go, if everything is good to go, an applicant has all of their documents ready and they want to follow the early application deadlines, they're more than welcome to do so. The advantage of doing that is that you're going to get a decision earlier, right? If you submit an application early, then you're going to get an earlier decision. But please do not be discouraged. If you happen to miss that early application deadline, it's okay. We're still reviewing the application after that deadline. We'll still get you a decision as quickly as possible. So it's okay if you miss the early application deadline and you're just following the regular application deadline.
Our second question is, do you offer GMAT and GRE waivers, and how do you apply for a GMAT or GRE waiver?
Certainly. Yes, we actually do offer GMAT GRE waivers, and it's actually pretty simple. When you apply and you submit all of your application materials except for the GMAT GRE, we're actually going to send your application file over to the review committee, and they're going to determine whether or not a GMAT GRE waiver is possible. If it's possible, we're going to continue processing your application and you're going to get a final decision that's going to be official. You're good to go. Now, if the waiver is not possible, we're actually going to notify you of that, let you know that you did not actually qualify for the GMAT GRE waiver, and we're going to expect a GMAT GRE score in order to continue with the review of the application. I do want to note on here that Dr. Powell is going to touch on scholarships in a little bit, and if you're interested in that, you have to be mindful that a GMAT GRE score is required for that.
Do I need to submit official transcripts and test scores with my admissions application?
So the answer to that is no. For an application review, we can actually use unofficial documents. You only need to submit official documents after you're admitted and in preparation for registration in your first semester. We do need to have official documents for you to remain enrolled in your first semester's coursework. But for the review of the application, we can work with unofficial documents. I do have that little reminder, like in my previous answer, Dr. Powell is going to talk about scholarships, and you have to be mindful about that because you do need an official GMAT GRE for that scholarship consideration. Now, if you're not interested in scholarships, then you're more than welcome to just work with unofficial documents, period.
Do you offer a waiver for the English proficiency requirement?
Yes, we actually do. This is another item that's going to be reviewed automatically. As you see on the left-hand side of the screen, you're not required to submit an English proficiency exam if either one, your native country's primary language is English, or number two, if you earned a degree previously through instruction and examination in English. So either of those two scenarios, the English proficiency exam is going to be waived. Again, it's going to happen automatically, but we do have to have a complete application in order to do the review for that English proficiency as well.
Can I apply to more than one program?
Yes, you can. The application system actually allows you to submit multiple applications for the same or even different semesters. And it's going to automatically share information across those applications. So once you enter your biographical information or information on your educational background, this information is going to carry over the other applications for any of the graduate programs you apply to at UTD. So you don't have to resubmit that type of information again. So that makes it a pretty simple process if you are interested in applying to more than one program.
Our next question is, how long does it take to receive an admission decision after applying?
Okay, so once we have all of your application materials that are needed for review, so if you got a GMAT GRE waivers, everything except that. If you didn't, we need a GMAT GRE. So once everything is submitted, it's going to take us about 2 weeks to get it through the process, get it to a review committee, get a final decision to be able to give you that final decision on the application. So our goal is always 2 weeks. We do encounter some periods of time where there's a high influx of applications and a lot more that we're working with. But even within that, we are still pushing and we're still trying to get you a decision as quickly as possible to meet that, that goal of getting you a reply in 2 weeks.
Our next question is quite common. What is the profile of our average admitted student?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So this is going to depend on the program that you're looking into. So I would encourage students to visit our program pages that are on our School of Management website. And there you can take a look at the class profile for each of the programs that a student is interested in. They're going to look like what is on the screen right now. It's going to have a lot of good information, a good snapshot of what each program and how you as an applicant compare to that average admitted student.
Thank you so much, Corina. We are going to go back to Dr. Powell so that we can talk about scholarship questions.
You're welcome.
So our first scholarship question, Dr. Powell, is what types of scholarship are available as a new student and as a continuing student?
Wow, that's a great and very popular question, Norma. I think the first thing that I would tell every prospective student is to go and thoroughly read the scholarship webpage. Every single possible question that you can ask is answered on that page. So take time to plow through some of that information. It will save you the anxiety of trying to get a specific answer when those answers are readily available. So there are two types of scholarships for students. Generally, incoming brand new student scholarships that we call the Dean's Excellence Award, those are awarded in the fall and the spring, with the bulk of them being given in the fall semester. But they're given to incoming new graduate students. Please notice on our website that there are certain categories of students that aren't eligible to apply for those new incoming, because many of those scholarship programs have their own, or many of those degree programs have their own scholarships. So please be mindful of that on the website. So you have new Dean's Excellence Awards for new students, and you also have continuing student awards. Those only occur in the fall semester. So if a student starts with us one fall, they might be awarded an incoming new student scholarship, but the next year they would need to apply for a continuing student scholarship. The bulk of our scholarships award for only 2 consecutive semesters, and many of them will have an in-state tuition waiver.
Our next question is incredibly important as it has to do with the deadline. What is the deadline to apply for scholarship?
So the deadlines always stay the same. They never move. So for the spring semester, if you're going to be a new student in the spring, it's December 1. If you're going to be a new student in the fall, you need to apply by May 1. The May 1 deadline is also the same deadline for continuing students as well. So you really want to hold tight. If you apply on May 2nd, you will not be considered. So hold tight to those deadlines and make sure you apply on time.
Our next question has to do with something that Corina mentioned earlier involving the GMAT and GRE. Am I eligible to apply for a scholarship if my GMAT and or GRE was waived?
Great question. So here is the answer. An official GMAT or GRE score must be submitted to be considered for a scholarship. So if you were admitted on a waiver of the GMAT or GRE, you can apply for a scholarship, but you are not going to be considered. There must be an official score in our system for the scholarship committee to consider an award. And you also need to be admitted. So a prospective applicant cannot be considered until they've been admitted to the Jindal school.
What does the scholarship committee look for when they're awarding scholarship?
So just like our application process is holistic, so is our scholarship committee process. And so let me explain what that means. From an admissions perspective, we look at everything that you submit. We look at your undergraduate transcripts. We look at graduate transcripts if you happen to have already gotten a graduate degree. We look at your essays, your letters of recommendation, your resume, your narrative or statement of purpose. So all of that is evaluated in an admission decision. It is also re-evaluated along with a GMAT or GRE score for a scholarship award. So it is a holistic process looking at everything. So you want to do a really good job in the applying process so that what moves on to the scholarship committee is also really good. But don't forget, you need to submit an official GMAT or GRE score.
When will I find out if I was awarded a scholarship?
So generally speaking, we have a rolling process for making scholarship awards, which to some students means we make that in a series of batches, but it depends upon the time of the year. In the fall, when we're making decisions about scholarship for spring, we wait till really late in the fall and we don't make a bunch of batch decisions. If it is somebody who's applying, and that's for people that are going into spring. If you're applying for a scholarship in the fall, we generally start making awards in late February and will continue to make on a rolling basis until the committee basically runs out of money to award. Now, it is always to your advantage to apply early because, you know, early bird gets the worm and you want to be considered as soon as possible. But generally speaking, we don't make awards for spring until really late in the fall, and we don't make awards in the fall. We make those just periodically throughout the spring.
Am I eligible for in-state tuition if I am awarded scholarship?
So a great many of our scholarships include an in-state tuition waiver, meaning that your tuition would just basically go in partnership with what an in-state student at the state of Texas would pay. So we're converting an out-of-state rate to an in-state rate or an out-of-residency rate to an in-state rate. Basically, that means you save about half of the tuition. But remember, scholarships are awarded for 2 consecutive semesters. So that means a tuition waiver for fall, followed by a tuition waiver for spring. If you're awarded a spring scholarship, then that is a tuition waiver for spring and a tuition waiver for summer. Not every award has a tuition waiver, but you would know it by the award letter in which you receive.
Our next section has to do with some very common program questions that we receive. The first one being, how many credit hours does the program take to complete?
So that is a really great question. And the example on the screen is specifically about a master's degree program. And the example is a business analytics degree. So all of our master's degree programs here in the Jindal School are 36 credit hours, but you will enroll in 37 because you are required to take a program prerequisite in your first semester here. And that program prerequisite is professional development, MAS 6102. It's a 1 credit hour class that we require of all of our students coming in. So an individual obtaining a master's degree is going to take 36 plus 1, 37 credit hours in order to graduate. But if you're coming into an MBA degree, that is a 53 credit hour program. So that's going to take longer to complete. And there are not any program prerequisites for the MBA. So you can come in and you're, of course, also able to transfer in credit hours. The master's transfers in 9, the MBA you can transfer in 12, but you have to go through a review process for any of those courses to potentially transfer. Now, keep in mind that as you're looking at which graduate program to apply to, you need to visit that program webpage, because on that program webpage, we are going to break that curriculum down for you. We're going to break down what is core class requirements for that master's or MBA, and we're going to break down what the electives are and whether or not that master's and MBA have potential concentrations that you can choose. So this is the kind of thing that you want to study early. You don't want to come in and make a decision at the last moment if you're going to go into the supply chain program. You want to have studied the potential concentrations in the supply chain program based upon the kind of job you want to get when you graduate. So you want to spend ample time on our program web pages, whether or not it's an MS or whether it's the MBA. Go and click on what will take you to the curriculum. Look at the core classes that are required, then look at the concentrations you can take and the elective options you have in each concentration, and base that upon what it is you want to do when you've completed the degree. You want to graduate with the knowledge that will make you qualified for that position that you're applying for. You don't want to waste any of those precious semesters taking classes that really aren't going to be relevant to the career that you're looking for post completion of the degree.
Our next question is, what is the estimated cost for the entire program?
So that is a complicated question, Norma, and I'm going to do my best to try and answer that. So we're at a university where the more credit hours you take in a semester, the less you pay per credit hour. Now, keep in mind that full-time graduate work is 9 credit hours. When you're an undergraduate, full-time is 12 or 14 or 15, depending upon what university you go to. But typically, 9 credit hours is full-time coursework. So you don't want to come in here and think, oh, well, Dr. Powell said the more credit hours I take, the less cost per credit hour. So I'm going to complete it in 2 long semesters and take 18 credit hours my first semester. No, that is not a good decision, because taking 18 credit hours of graduate class will kill you. So what you want to do is think about how you're going to go through the program and how many hours you're going to take each semester. Now, there's a handy dandy cost of attendance calculator that you can get to, and you can see how to get there by the link on the screen. You can put in that you're graduate, you can put in that you're out of state or in state, you can put in what school you're going to and the number of credit hours, and it will give you an estimate of your tuition. But keep in mind that, you know, there's tuition, there's supplemental tuition expenses. And then we also have additional fees for things like online classes that you will take, like synchronous and asynchronous classes. So those have fees. So this is just an estimate, but it's a good way to help you think about what the approximate cost will be as you move through either a 36 credit hour master's degree or 53 credit hour MBA.
Our next question is, who should I contact if I have questions about the degree curriculum or career outlook for the program I am interested in?
So I really love this question. And the most important part of the answer to this question is bringing up the program director. As a prospect to a graduate degree program here at the Jindal School, you have probably already received emails from your designated program director. They are absolutely the best resource for you to contact or even attend their webinars. They have specific webinars about business analytics and supply chain and healthcare and innovation and entrepreneurship and MBA, where you can hear them talk about, here are the core courses, here's what we cover, here are the concentrations, here are the kind of jobs that you can get, here's what the class profile looks like. And that program director is your point of contact for the entire time that you're here in the program. So they can help you with everything from choosing your elective courses to your concentration to, oh my gosh, I'm really struggling in this class. You know, what do I do? They can talk to you about careers and career options. They are your first line of defense in answering all of those kinds of questions. And you see those examples on the right side of your screen. If you look to the left side of your screen, you'll see the great thing that Corina and her team can do for you. We have a great advising operation, a whole team of experts that help students with more about the mechanics of being a student. You know, understanding a degree plan. What are the courses that are required? How do you register for classes? How do you add? How do you drop? How do you change your degree program? How do you apply for graduation? So that's what the advising office does. But as a prospective student, whether it's an MS or an MBA, you will want to reach out to those program directors. Most of our program directors hold weekly or bi-weekly webinars where they can answer tons of information, questions about you know, the degree plan and what the careers are. And oftentimes they will bring current students and alumni to those webinar sessions to really help prospective students understand and appreciate the return on the investment in coming to the Jindal School.
What type of career support does JSOM offer?
So I love this slide. I just love this graphic because I think that this is really there are a couple of things that really distinguish the Jindal School from other schools that you might be looking at and considering. And so one of those distinguishing differences is around our career management support. We have our own dedicated career management team here in the Jindal School called the CMC, the Career Management Center, and they do all of the things that you see on the screen. But we make it even easier than just walking into a center and saying, please help me with an internship or please help me with networking. We require all of our master's students to take a professional development class where in your very first semester, we get your resume ready for distribution, organized in the way that our employers expect to see your resume. We have already taught you how to network. We have already introduced you to the process for securing an internship. We have already walked you specifically through how to frame your cover letter, how to connect with the career management folks and attend workshops and career fairs and employer engagements. So that's one resource within the school. The other resource within the school around career is your actual program. You will see that your program directors are holding events where they are bringing in awesome panels of alumni who will talk about how they landed their internship or how they landed their H-1B job or their full-time position, and will share with prospective students and current students how they made it happen and how they can make it happen as well. So that's one distinguishing feature about the Jindal School that is really different than all of the other graduate business schools in America. The other side of career is around our student organizations. We have over 70 student organizations here. And really the bulk of those organizations are focused exclusively on helping a student understand the career that they're going into and networking with employers and alumni and people that can help them advance their career goals. And they help host case competitions and employer competitions so that we can give students the best advantage. There isn't a graduate school in America that has 70 plus student organizations to help students on the career side. So keep in mind those two distinguishing features, but all of the resources that you see on the screen, they're here and ready for you to take advantage of as a student at UT Dallas.
Thank you, Dr. Powell. Now we are going to go over to Elizabeth Walker, who will be answering some of our questions that have to do with international student considerations.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's exciting to have you here as prospective UT Dallas students.
Our first question that we get a lot from our eager students is, how do I contact ISSO?
That is a great question. We have many different ways for students to receive advising services through the ISSO. We have something called live chat, where you can type your answer and get an immediate response from an advisor. If you need more time to ask your questions, you can schedule a virtual appointment through Microsoft Teams. We do offer face-to-face appointments also if you happen to be in the area. And we have something called Ask an Advisor through iComment, where you can submit a question and get a response from an advisor in a day or two.
Our next question is, what is the iComment portal that you just mentioned?
So once a student has been admitted to UT Dallas, they have access to iComment. And iComment is where you would submit your request for an I-20 if you are an international student. You would log into iComment to upload the required documents for an I-20, which would be the financial affidavit form, passport, and proof of financial support.
We have a lot of students who are very eager to get started on the I-20 process after they're admitted. So how do they apply for their I-20?
So to become an F1 student, the student needs to apply for the I-20 and then apply for an F1 visa. First, they need to be admitted to a degree-seeking program at UT Dallas, and then submit to the ISSO through iComment a copy of their passport, which is valid for at least 6 months into the future. A copy of the UT Dallas financial affidavit completed by the student, and sufficient funding. And if you're not sure what is sufficient funding, you may visit our website, which talks about the financial requirements and the type of acceptable financial documents.
These next questions have to do with the visa. So the first one is, how do I prepare for a visa appointment?
So preparing for the F1 visa appointment is really important. First, you need the required documents to apply for the visa, which would be the valid passport, the initial I-20, the proof of financial support, the proof of admission to UT Dallas, and very importantly, your proof of ties to your home country.
What are some common mistakes or missteps that international students sometimes make when they're applying for their I-20 or when they have their visa appointment?
So when applying for their I-20, students sometimes submit financial documents that were issued more than 12 months in the past, or that are not in English, or that are financial documents that we are not able to accept. So if a student is unsure of what type of financial documents we can accept, always referring to our website is great. For the visa appointment, so when the student has their visa appointment, the visa officer wants to know about their intent. Their intent should be to come to UT Dallas and to get a degree in a field that is going to tie directly back to their career goals in their home country. If the student indicates that their goals are to have a career in the US after they get their degree here, they may not be granted the F1 visa because the F1 visa is a non-immigrant visa.
And what advice do you have for somebody whose visa is denied?
So if a student's F1 visa is unfortunately denied, the visa officer should give them a slip of paper that indicates the exact reason for their denial. Okay. The student can then schedule a subsequent visa appointment with the understanding that they have to have some new information for the visa officer to consider, either something that they say or something that they present. Because if they present exactly what they did the previous time, they'll get the same decision.
Our next question has to do with on-campus employment. As an international student, am I eligible for on-campus jobs?
Yes, F1 students, once they've got their visa and their I-20, can enter the United States up to 30 days before their semester start date, their program start date at UT Dallas, and can work on campus up to 30 days before the semester start date. F1 students can work in any job on campus that provides direct services to students, and they don't need any special authorization from the ISSO. They are allowed to work up to 20 hours per week during a long semester and full-time during school breaks.
When will I be eligible for CPT?
So lots of F1 students are interested in CPT. This is off-campus paid internships related to a student's major. Students are eligible for CPT after they have completed an academic year in F1 status, which would be 2 long semesters. They also have to be in good academic standing and meet all requirements of the JSOM Career Management Center prior to being eligible for approval from the ISSO.
Thank you so much, Corina. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I think we're going to have a lot of additional questions here that we're going to answer that the students have in addition to what we have covered. We are a very student-centered kind of school and university, and we care very much about your questions, and we give you a lot of venues in which to ask them. So those program directors, which you've seen emails from, they are a great resource. You can always email jindal@utdallas.edu if there are questions that we don't answer here today. And we have something called the JSOM question desk, and you can see a link on your screen, and they can also answer questions. But I encourage all of you to be really proactive. You have to do a lot of planning if you're going to come to graduate school. So take the time to read websites, take the time to read important emails, take time to read the application process. Really, most of the answers that you need are readily available on the website. So take a quick look there. Just do us a favor and don't email the same question to about 20 people. That will make it a little bit challenging for you when you get all of those same answers back in your email box. So I guess, Norma, let's move on to questions that students might have, and let's see what they've come up with that we didn't think about in advance.
We have a lot of great questions for you, but I'm going to go ahead and bring Josephine onto the screen because I think the first couple that we have will be for her. The very first one is, what sort of evidence is accepted as proof of ties to my home country?
Okay, so this is a really great question, and I'm glad you're thinking about this. The important part to remember is F1 status requires you to have the intention to retain your residency in your home country. So any types of documents or evidence that shows that you will be returning to your home country after you finish your degree or OPT status is what they're looking for. These can include the existence of family members who remain in your home country, especially close family members, your parents, your siblings. If they still remain in your home country, they want to see that those connections are there. They may look at what is the job prospects for your employment with the degree that you're going to be making in your home country. Are you going to be able to bring that learning back to your home country and get a job? It is helpful if you already have employment in your home country, whether that's a family business or something, but that's not necessary. And for young adults starting their professional life, that may not always be possible. But if you happen to have property in your name or other physical assets for which you are an owner and that remain in your home country, those are some of the things that they're looking for to see, okay, you're not going to abandon your home country. You have a reason to return at the end of your studies.
And I've got another one for you. Quite a few of our students asked about if they've gotten an I-20, but then they receive a scholarship award. Do they need to request a new I-20?
So you don't have to. And the thing to consider is, where are you in the visa process? If you are in the process of applying for your visa, for example, you have a visa appointment scheduled and it's coming up soon, or you've had your appointment and you're just waiting to get the visa back in your passport, I would not bother changing anything on your I-20. It's not worth a potential of the I-20 not being updated in time and your physical I-20 not matching what's in the immigration record. I wouldn't bother at that time. However, if you have lots of time remaining, maybe you have a visa interview, you want to show that you have institutional funding, your visa interview is not for several weeks, and there's going to be enough time for that I-20 update to be processed, you can absolutely go ahead and do it. Someone earlier asked about what happens if they already have their visa and they get the scholarship afterwards. I would say if you want to change your I-20, you can do that when you come to the United States. You don't need to add another layer of complication to your plans to arrive in the US. So you can still travel with your scholarship letter, travel with the documentation for which your I-20 was issued. For example, if you had family funds or student loan, et cetera, you can still travel with those documents. And then when you come to the US, we'll be happy to update that financial information for you.
And I have a couple more for you. When they're resubmitting to get a new I-20, do they have to pay another SEVIS fee? And I apologize if I'm not saying that right.
It's okay. There's a lot of debate about whether it's SEVIS or SEVIS. Your I-20 has a SEVIS ID number. It's usually an N00 and a long number. It's usually about 13 digits. Okay. The SEVIS fee is tied to that SEVIS ID number on your I-20. When you are reissued an I-20, just to make updates to your financial information, maybe your name or whatever it is, your SEVIS ID will remain the same, and that is still tied to the SEVIS fee. If, however, your I-20 was canceled or some other reason you have to get a brand new I-20 and the SEVIS ID on your I-20 is different, you will need to repay with that SEVIS ID. So those two things are linked. The SEVIS ID and the SEVIS fee are tied together. And so just always keep in mind, keep track of whether you have a new one, and that will require you to pay a new fee.
Thank you so much, Josephine. I'm going to go ahead and bring Dean Powell back to the screen because we have some questions for her. The first one is, can we do a part-time internship in the 3rd and 4th semester as part of the degree plan? And so I was hoping you could talk about what how many internships our international students typically do and the timing of that.
That is just a great question, and internships are really important in terms of helping a student potentially land an OPT opportunity that will hopefully lead to an H-1B visa. So generally speaking, our students who come into our programs, our international students, are here for 5 semesters. So let's just take, for example, that you're coming in a fall. So you'll come in a fall and you'll enroll in that fall. You'll enroll in the next spring. Fall and spring are considered long semesters, what we call long semesters, as opposed to the short summer semester. A student must have completed 2 long semesters to be eligible to do an internship. And a student can then, as a result of being in the program for really 5 semesters, fall, spring, summer, fall, spring, so 21 months. They generally do an internship in the summer for 1 credit hour. They often follow up or extend that same internship for the fall, and they get another or extend that internship for the following spring, so that they can do 3 credit hours of internship, 1 credit hour at a time. Generally speaking, our students really vary in terms of whether they are part-time internships or full-time internships. An international student is limited to, what is it, Josephine? You can only work 365 days as a student in a full-time capacity. So if you've gone over that limit, you can't do it anymore. But most of our students will carry a class and do an internship, or they'll carry 2 classes and do an internship. We even have some students that do part-time work, carry 3 classes and do an internship. You don't want to overload yourself, because then you would put yourself in academic jeopardy in terms of not performing well in your classes. So lots of opportunity for internship. I encourage all of our prospective students to go out and look at our Internship Stories website. That is a great place where all of our students post their internship experiences, and Norma will put that in the chat for you. But you can go out there and see pictures of the students and their internships. You can read about what they did, the kind of job they had, the engagement with the employers, if they met alumni, the kind of courses and tools that they learned, that they got from the classes that they used for their employer. So there's a lot of great stories out there, and I strongly encourage everyone to go and look at those.
Our next question has to do with the GMAT and GRE waiver. This person is saying, if they are denied the GMAT and GRE waiver, how long do they have to submit their GMAT GRE score?
Really, as long as it takes you. I mean, certainly before admission closes for the semester in which you have applied. So it kind of depends upon how early you have applied. But you should go, buckle down, take that GMAT or GRE test, get it submitted as soon as you can, and then we will continue the process of evaluating you for admission. And we do have students that do that, because not every student gets a GMAT GRE waiver. And so we want you to go and take the test so that we can consider you for admission.
This person is asking if they can apply for the spring semester now. And I'm hoping what they mean is spring 2024, not 2023, since we're almost done with that.
So Corina, is spring 2024 open? It is open,
Yes,
right?
it is available.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it is out there for you to apply.
Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and bring Josephine back onto the screen because we have a question for her related to what we were talking about earlier. This person asks, if we don't have a property on in our name in our country, then does it mean that we don't have ties to our home country?
Not at all. There are other types of evidence that you can show to establish that you have ties to your home country. These include, as I said before, family members who are in your home country that you plan to return to. These could be your parents, this could be a spouse, children, etc. You also want to look at the application of your degree to that home country. So if you have a great industry that's developing around analytics, and that's what you're studying, you can show that you're going to be able to return to that country and get a good paying job. Those are the types of things that they want to see. You also can just make clear statements like, I plan on returning to my home country. I will enjoy my time in America, but it is my desire to remain in my homeland, or to, you can also clearly make convincing statements that you plan to return to your home country.
Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and bring Dean Powell back to the screen because we have somebody who's wondering, how do students typically go about selecting their courses? This person wants to take 5 courses in the fall, so I was hoping you could also talk about the typical course load for international students.
That is a really terrific question. And I think that students, especially young students, and I really applaud this characteristic in our 20-somethings that are looking to go to graduate school. They want to get it done. They want to get it done in a hurry, and they want to get out there to that great future career that they're planning on and dreaming of. But generally speaking, a full-time graduate student is taking 9 credit hours. So taking 5 classes or 15 credit hours is a big load. And that is, while you will save in the overall tuition cost because you're paying a lower cost per credit hour, you're also taking on a huge burden in trying to manage all 5 graduate level classes at the same time. Now, that doesn't mean that that doesn't happen. We have a full-time MBA program that is accelerated where students are taking loads as big as that. But generally speaking, the bulk of our students, I would say 90% plus of our students who are full-time, are taking 9 credit hours. Generally, an international student will take 10 in their first semester because they're also taking a 1 credit hour required program prerequisite called professional development. So generally you would want to take, you know, that 10 credit hours. And also if you speed up like that, then you won't have the opportunity to take advantage of internships over a long period of time. It is very powerful to be able to take 3 1 credit hour internships, then 1 3 credit hour internship, because that gives you a 1 semester internship experience. You really want to have your best chances to identify either a company that you want to work for, an OPT, or an industry that you're considering. You want to use those 3 internships as an opportunity to evaluate your career choice. And, you know, that's a great way to determine, oops, I don't think I really want to do this. I want to do that. So in the next internship, you tweak a little bit. But 5 classes is a lot, and we want you to be academically successful and not put too much stress on yourself. And also, if you are an international student and you complete and you say take, you know, 15 and then 17 and then 18, and once you reach the maximum credits required by a degree, you will be graduated. So you can't extend beyond that if you've completed the degree requirements.
The next question is about changing their master's program. So this is a student that's not here yet. Can I change my master's course from one to another? So I was hoping you could talk about changing your program prior to even starting at UT Dallas and how to change your program maybe after you're already here.
So I'm going to take a stab at answering this question, and then I'm going to pitch it to Corina because I don't want to get it wrong. But generally speaking, if a decision has not been rendered in your application, then you can change to a different degree program. But if a decision has been rendered, then you have to apply to a different program. So I'm going to pitch it over to Corina to see if I win the bonus points for the correct answer.
You got it. You got the extra bonus points. But that's correct. If you have not been processed and your application is still pending, you can actually just submit a request that's usually just a form through the system that allows you to change that master's program into something different. But if a decision is already on file and you really want to be considered for a different program, I recommend that you go ahead and submit that application for the second program now. We can use all of the documents that you have already submitted for the first application, so there's not going to be a delay in additional documents, but we do need that additional application to be able to process it for that other program that you're interested in.
It is not that unusual that students would do that. Maybe they plan to go to business analytics and they decide, oops, I really think I want to do ITM. So that is a common thing. And generally you can submit without paying that second application fee, and they will only charge you a single application fee at the end when you are matriculated into a program.
This next person says that they're admitted to the ITM program, but they're wondering if they can take courses from business analytics.
Oh, I just love that question. So this is one of the enormous benefits of coming to the Jindal School of Management. You're going to be, if you've been admitted to the ITM program, you've probably been admitted to the Flex, because that's our option in the ITM. That means that you'll be able to choose from quite a number of concentrations or tracks inside of that degree. And many of those tracks share a lot of courses with the business analytics program. So when you're sitting in your business statistics class, or you're sitting in a database foundations class, or you're sitting in a spreadsheet modeling class, you're going to be in class with students from all of our degree programs. So you have the flexibility and ability within the limitations of your degree program to take classes throughout the graduate program offerings. So you just need to work with your program director. You need to look carefully at the concentrations, and you'll see what we call course prefixes. So the course prefix for ITM is MIS, Management Information Systems. The course prefix for analytics is BUAN. So you're going to see that there are a lot of variability in the courses that you can take depending upon the concentration and track that you choose. And some of our degree programs have free electives where you have the ability to take an entrepreneurship class, or a class in finance. So you'll have a lot of flexibility in the ITM program, and I encourage you to reach out to your program director, Dr. Mark Thuen, or Donna Nix, the program support person. They can help answer specific questions about courses that you want to take outside of the ITM program.
The next question is about scholarship. This person says there's a large number of students that apply for scholarships, and they're wondering what the likelihood is of receiving a scholarship. Do the majority of students get scholarships?
Wow, that's a really tough question to answer because we have such variability in the number of people that apply. But I can tell you that we offer hundreds of scholarships to incoming students, probably more than any other school out there, just simply because we're a big school. The key on scholarships is they go to the best qualified students, and they are merit-based scholarships. So we're looking at everything from the application file. We're looking at those GMAT, GRE scores. So we're going to choose the best candidates in the pool at the time that the committee is meeting. The committee meets on a regular basis to go over those applicants. So it's kind of a rolling selection of scholarship applicants. But we give away a lot of money, both to incoming students and to our continuing students.
I'm going to bring Josephine onto the screen for one more question. Typically, how long does it take to receive your I-20 after you've applied?
Okay, so after you've applied in iComment, it'll take about 3 to 5 business days for it to be reviewed by an advisor. What's going to happen after the advisor reviews it is either you're going to get an email letting you know that we need some additional documents or some more information that we can use to process it, or you'll receive an email saying it has been approved and the I-20 will be attached to the email. You will then need to print the attached I-20 and sign it, and you can use that. So in general, 3 to 5 business days. Most of the time, you all have submitted everything that you need, and you'll have that I-20 attached to your email.
Thank you so much, Josephine. I'm going to bring Dean Powell back to the screen because those are all the questions that we have. And so I want to give you an opportunity to give our students some closing remarks.
Well, number one, we're grateful that you've chosen to give of your valuable time to come and sit with us today and learn about the application, admissions, scholarship, international student question issues. Going to graduate school is a big decision, and you want to be really thoughtful about doing that. But I can promise you that if you choose the Jindal School of Management, we are very committed to the individual success of all of our students. That's the number one thing that our students tell us in their exit surveys, is that how committed the faculty and staff are here. You know, there is no greater day. There are 2 great days in the life of a dean. Day one is when you see all those students in front of you at orientation, and you just get all excited about the fact that they've made the choice to come here, and you can welcome them and get to meet them and shake their hands and say hello to their parents back on WhatsApp. And then the second day is, of course, when they walk across that stage and they've made their dreams come true. So I want to encourage all of you to get the answers that still remain in your mind answered so that you can complete an application and be considered for admission here at the Jindal School. It would be our honor to have you. I want to thank our team that joined us this morning, Josephine Vitta, whom I know is just working like crazy over there, making sure that all of our incoming international students are taken care of, as well as our continuing students and alumni. I want to thank Corina Cantua, who runs an amazing shop to make sure that our students are advised appropriately on their course registrations and that we get them to graduation without any difficulty. And then, of course, Norma, who's the right arm and left arm of the Senior Associate and Grad Dean Office and making webinars like this happen. Please reach out to us. If you have questions on the screen, you see the email addresses that you can send an email to. If you have a question that you feel is important, don't hesitate to send that email. Let us get that question answered for you. And then the one final thing that I would say is that I want you to review a webinar that I'm going to ask Norma to put the link into the question and answer section for you, because going to graduate school isn't cheap. It really is a big financial decision, and we have literally hundreds I can say thousands of international students who come to us who are having to make a big decision about how they fund the degree. So I want you to watch this webinar because it talks about all the different scenarios that you might think about and how you pay for it. It's really amazing. If you come in and you get a tuition waiver scholarship for the first year, then you're paying in-state tuition. That saves you half the cost. If you happen to get a TA ship while you're here after your first semester, you're going to get an in-state tuition waiver there. There are dozens and dozens of probably hundreds of on-campus jobs that students can apply for once they get here. And internships, which the bulk of our students get, those are paying as high as $45 a credit, $45 an hour, down to $18 an hour. So we're finding that students doing all of that, plus taking out a nominal, kind of loan from one of the loan organizations that I'm sure you're already aware of. Our students are paying off the loans while they're doing their internships. It's pretty amazing. So don't let the financial aspect keep you from exploring the proposition further. And don't think that you have to be a scholarship recipient to be able to afford it, because there's lots of other ways that our students do it as well. So I encourage you to watch that funding webinar. I think as of yesterday, there were well over 1,000 that had watched it, and I think we did it 3 weeks ago. So reach out if we can answer questions. Don't hesitate to contact a program director, and we look forward to seeing your application complete, and we look forward to welcoming you to the Jindal School of Management. Thanks for joining us today. Be in touch with us, okay?